I never thought silence could be louder than words, but that night, standing in the dim haze of a bar with neon lights buzzing faintly above me, I realized silence could shatter everything, because silence was all I had left when I saw her, my wife, the woman I had promised forever to, leaning across a table, her hand entwined with another man's, the beginning of the end. It wasn't supposed to be like that. I had only stopped by the bar because my buddy Greg asked me to grab him after his late shift. He worked 2 blocks over, and I figured I'd kill time with a beer while I waited. The bar smelled of spilled whiskey and stale smoke, its wooden floor creaking under every step. A place I'd been dozens of times, always with her, Maya, my wife. That's when I saw her. She wasn't supposed to be there. She had told me she was working late, buried under reports she needed to finish. But there she was, hair falling over her shoulders, laughing in a way that used to belong only to me, and the man sitting across from her. He wasn't just a friend. His hand brushed her cheek, and she didn't pull away. Their eyes locked with an intimacy I hadn't seen in months. My chest tightened. My fingers instinctively reached for my wedding band, the small silver circle that symbolized every vow, every promise, every sacrifice. And for the first time in our marriage, it felt heavy. The moment I don't remember walking toward her table, my body moved before my mind caught up, weaving through the crowd until I stood a foot away from them. Her laughter froze mid-breath when she noticed me. "Daniel," she whispered, her voice cracking, her face paling. The man across from her shifted uncomfortably, his hand slipping away from hers. He looked at me, then at her and muttered, "I'll give you to a minute," before disappearing into the crowd. But I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at her. She opened her mouth, maybe to explain, maybe to lie. I'll never know because I didn't let her speak. Instead, I slipped my ring off the band that had been on my finger for 10 years. I placed it gently on the table between us, pushing it toward her without a word. Her eyes widened, her lips trembling as she reached for it. "Daniel, please." But I was already walking away. When I got home, the silence of our house screamed at me. The pictures on the wall, our wedding day, vacations, birthdays, they suddenly looked like props from someone else's life. I sat on the couch in the dark, staring at the door. Part of me hoped she wouldn't come back. Another part of me dreaded the thought of her not walking through that door. It was after midnight when the lock clicked. She stepped inside, her heels in her hand, her eyes swollen from crying. "Daniel," she whispered, her voice breaking, "please let me explain." Explain what? I asked, my voice calm. That you were working late, or that working late now means holding hands with some guy at a bar. Her face crumpled. She dropped her shoes on the floor and walked toward me, but I held up a hand. "Don't," I said firmly. She stopped. Tears slid down her cheeks. "It's not what you think." I laughed bitterly. That line. "Really, Maya, I saw you. I saw the way you looked at him. You haven't looked at me like that in years." Her sob turned into a hiccup. "I was lonely, Daniel." The words hit harder than I expected. Lonely, the confession. We sat across from each other, the silence between us thick with everything we weren't saying. Finally, she whispered, "It's been going on for 3 months." My heart sank, even though I had already known. 3 months, I repeated, the words tasting like poison. "While I've been killing myself at work to keep us afloat. While I've been planning our anniversary trip. While I've been believing in us." She buried her face in her hands. I didn't plan for it to happen. He listened to me. He made me feel seen. Seen, I echoed, my voice cracking with a mix of anger and pain. And what was I, Maya, invisible? Her sobs filled the room, but I couldn't comfort her. Not this time. I stared at her, the woman I thought I knew, and felt like I was staring at a stranger. Memories and lies. That night, I lay awake while she cried beside me. My mind replayed everything. Our first date, the night I proposed, the day we signed the mortgage, the time she held my hand through my father's funeral. Were those moments real, or just stepping stones to this betrayal? I wanted to believe she had loved me. I wanted to believe this wasn't all a lie. But the image of her laughing with him, eyes sparkling, hand in his, it burned into me like a brand. The woman beside me wasn't the woman I married. The next evening, she tried again. "Daniel, please," she begged. "I don't want to lose you. It was a mistake. I'll end it." I'll do anything. I looked at her, really looked at her. Her face was desperate, her hands shaking. She wanted forgiveness. She wanted me to erase what I saw, but I couldn't. You ended it the moment you chose him. I said quietly. You ended us the moment you let him touch you the way only I should. Her tears fell faster. Please don't throw this away. Throw it away, my voice rose. You already did. Days turned into weeks. We went through the motions of being husband and wife, but everything was broken. Conversations were strained. Meals were silent, and every time I looked at her, I saw him. I thought about staying for the house for the years we built together, but staying felt like living in a graveyard, surrounded by memories of something that had died. So one night I packed a bag. She stood in the doorway, her face pale. You're leaving. I have to, I said. My voice was steady, but my heart was breaking. She reached out, clutching my arm. Please change your mind. I'll prove it to you. I gently pulled away. You can't undo what you did, Maya. You can't unmake the choice you made. Her sob followed me as I walked out. The silence after was deafening. I got an apartment downtown. Small, quiet, empty. Some nights I lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if I made the right choice. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw that bar. I saw her laughter. I saw my ring sliding across the table. And I knew sometimes love doesn't end with a fight. Sometimes it ends with silence. When you realize the person you loved is no longer the person standing in front of you. Weeks later, she showed up at my apartment. Her hair was messy, her face pale, but her eyes still carried that pleading look. She held out my ring. I kept it, she whispered. I thought maybe. I shook my head. It doesn't belong to me anymore. Her tears fell, but I didn't take it because that ring wasn't just metal. It was trust. It was faith. And both had been broken beyond repair. The last time I saw her, she stood in the rain, outside my building, crying as I closed the door. And for the first time, I didn't feel anger. I felt nothing, because sometimes betrayal doesn't leave you burning. It leaves you hollow. And in that hollow space, I found something unexpected. Peace.